Now, welcome to this another episode of our React uh, library. Now, in this episode, I'm going to take you through how to set up your React router DOM. That is, the React router DOM is going to enable you navigate through different pages in your application. So the first thing that we're going to do is create our pages that we want to be navigating through. And for that to happen, we have to arrange our files in a systematic way that you can understand when you come back, or even if someone else wants to use your code, they can easily understand. So we're going to create our first. The first thing that we're going to do is create the pages directory. And the pages directory is going to contain those different pages that we want to be navigating through. So our first page is going to be the login page. I created the login page, but I created it outside the pages directory. Remember, when you're importing the pages, you have to specify where the files you're going to be storing them for you to understand your files easily. So the thing is, first we create our first snippet, that is the login snippet. So the login snippet, is going to contain the login page. So how do you do that? First, as we've said, this is the root, the main template that is going to host all the other templates, and you'll be calling them from this file. So let us see now. Let us first import this component that we just created. That is the login page component. Login. You see, the login is already imported because we have imported it there. Okay. So the other page that we're going to have is the sign up. The sign up. .jsx extension that allows you the JSX snippet. It has the JavaScript as well as it has the JavaScript, and no, this is the extension that contains so with that said, let us create our second page, and the second page is going to be register page. Register.jsx. What is not happening? Register.jsx. Okay. So remember, the extension is supposed to contain a JSX extension. Yeah. So we have these different pages. You remember the snippet that I told you about, the RAFCE. This one now is going to create our template. So we have two different pages that we want to maneuver through, each at a time. Yeah. So we have the login, and we still have the registration. If you do not have an account, you have to register. Remember that. Yeah. And I hope you're familiar with React. That's why I'm not going to take you in depth, but it's very, very friendly for even the intermediate, even the immediate. Someone wants to understand what happens really in React. So you can see we have created two pages. That is the login and registration page. Let us save and see how they're going to behave. So we can see we can see we have the login and registration pages at the same time. But we want, when we navigate to each and every page, that page will have a template on its own. Rather, if we want to go to the login will display the login details independently from registration details. So with that to happen, we're going to use React Router DOM. So the first thing that you're going to do is create a React router. And how do we create a React router? We'll go to the documentation, to the React router documentation, and see the best method that you can use in creating the React router DOM. So you can see the different ways you can create React router DOM. But now we're going to look at the best way that you can use to create the best React router. Yeah. And which is the best way that you can use to create the best router that will enable us maneuver through different pages. So the first thing that you're going to do is install the packages that contain the React router. And what are those packages? The packages that are contained in the React router, we're going to do. I'm sorry. We're going to. You can open another template, another terminal. Sorry. React router DOM. But you have to be certain which React router DOM the React router DOM that you want to use. So we're going to look at the best React router that you're going to install in our system. Excuse. So now we're going to look at the best React router that we can use for our system. You can see this is the documentation of React router, but I don't want us to use this, and I want us to use a very detailed one. React router DOM, React router npm. That is not package manager. That is going to help us install the best React router. You can see we have we have this package that contains. Yeah, so we're going to use this React router package. So we're going to install that package. Let us go back to the documentation and see how is it used. So the router, this is how the router is put in action. Everything that you need to understand is all here. I'm sorry, this is not giving me what I want. You just keep practicing. You just keep practicing, and eventually everything will fall in place. So when we use the React router DOM, we're going to look for the best snippet to use for a project. Now let us import this one. React import React router DOM. Okay, so this is the and we're going to import it to the main. Create React route browser router. We're going to use this one, router. Then we have routes. then you have a router, yeah, from React Router DOM. So uh, for the React Router DOM to be effective, we're going to wrap everything in the React router. So we're going to use the browser router. Sorry, browser router. With closing and opening tags, yeah. Browser router, then we'll have routes. Those are different routes, or the route. Then the route, they're going to contain a router. So this is the router which is going to be our first router, which is a self-closing router tagged. So the router is going to contain what? Router. So the router will contain routes, browser router, routers, and router. What does the router as? The router as what? It has elements. The elements are going to define the path that you're going to be using for a project. That is what? The login. And then we will just a minute. Element. No, the element is going to be the component that we're going to be calling inside JSON. Come on. We're going to have path. Our path will take us to the login page. Then the path has this element. We can refer back to our so it's going to be login. Let us see how it's going to behave. Is it going to call our first? It's compiling. Let us see how it's going to call our first element. That is route component. Router is not a route component. All children must be a route, or So we have a small error. Let us see where the error is coming from. Not router, it's route. Route. We imported the router. It's route. You see now, you can see you have the login still showing. But let us, yes, from the home page, it's displaying all the pages that we want, but now we want to display the login page. You see the login page, when you go to the login page, it's displaying as well. You see it has added another login component. So this login component is the login component. I think this one is not supposed to be there, but we have this login component. Let us first see how it's going to be. You see, we have the login. Now the path that we created as the login path has taken us to the component login. So this is our first login that we're going to be. This is our first page. You can see it's not displaying both the login and the registration page. It's now just displaying the login page. So we can create another route that is going to take us to the registration page. That is the route with path registration that has this element that is what the login. So those are different components. Now the registration component is going to be, we're going to call the registration component on its own now. Yeah. So you see, when we go to the browser and go to the path login, it's going to take us to the login component. And when we go to the register component, is it registration? It's supposed to be registration. The registration component is going to take us to register page. Boom, we made it. So with that is how you set up your router DOM in your React project. I'll see you in the next episode, where I'm going to show you how to create styling of the two components that we just created.